Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from San Francisco. Actually, I'm from New York. I just moved. I'm a writer. I work in teaching, I teach writing, and I'm taking yoga teacher training. I'm here because it's my 30th birthday, and I wanted to take a big retreat and reset, recalibrate, kind of unwind after the decade of my 20s, and learn a whole bunch about raw food and healing. No, I'm really new to raw food and to nutritional healing. I'm very into movement, but I was hoping to learn as much as I could about this new area and body of work and learn ways to integrate it into my lifestyle. I feel wonderful. I really feel wonderful. I am doing a major detox or sabbatical or cleanse, if you will. I'm not connected to the internet. I don't have my computer. There's no alcohol, there's no coffee, there's no meat, there's no dairy, there's no cooked food, there's no family, there's no contact with anyone back home. I'm just here for 10 days to kind of reset and feel what it's like to just eat healthy and do a little less and allow myself not to work so much. I've learned an incredible amount about raw food, and I have to say that I'm really ignorant when it comes to what raw food is. I actually was afraid of the word raw because I thought that meant that you couldn't eat anything, that I'd always be hungry. And I actually discovered so many different foods that you can eat, that you can dehydrate, like how to preserve the enzymatic quality of foods so they still have living cultures in them. I have not been hungry at all. The food is really amazing, and it's so great because I'm going to take home so many different tips and tricks and tools and techniques and just automatically kind of assimilate that into my life and say, oh yeah, I can make this, I can make that, and eat so much better right away. I also really appreciate the holistic aspect and the healing aspect of this retreat. It's really about like your entire body and well-being, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, your relationship to food. And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is that it's not about rules and restrictions and diets and so much discipline, although discipline is necessary. It's actually more about asking one simple question, and that question is, how do you feel? And so when I put something in my mouth, I say, how do I feel, right? And sometimes I feel great, right? Like I have coffee, I feel great. And then I don't feel so good later. And just really paying attention to how I feel with my interactions in the world, with people, with food, teaches me so much and gives me such, power isn't the right word, but such maybe grace with which to make decisions in the future. And that's huge for me, at least. I don't know, I think over the past few months, I've been so happy, and that joy is coming from really simple things. That's coming from, I don't know, I adore reading, I adore learning, I love great food that makes me feel good. And so through this course, I'm just learning that I don't have to go to elaborate extremes to make myself happy, and I don't have to fill myself up with more things. It's actually a little bit of doing less that's making me quite happy. I learned how to use a blender, right, in the right way. And I didn't know you could make soups in a Vitamix, and I'm sure you can find this all on the internet, but it's really cool to just see it, actually see it happen and say, oh, okay. The massages aren't bad either. Where I come from, New York, is cold and dark and just really completely different. And here it's hot and humid, and we're outside on the second level of a open air, I don't even know what the structure is called, just an open air space, and we're wiring all of these KitchenAids, or mixers, blenders, Vitamixes, tools into the electrical system of a remote island, Bali. So it's been collaborative, it's been interesting, it's been kind of an amalgamation of humans inside a very small space, and yet it's really fun to get elbows to elbows with people and talk to them and hear from them and make new recipes and learn a little bit more about, I don't know, it sounds cliche, but how to live a better life, right? Well, my life is changing so much right now, so It's hard to pinpoint one transformation. But I am so happy with change. I think that sometimes we get really stuck and really afraid of making changes, and I was. I came here, I was like, I'm never going to be able to survive on this kind of food. It's going to be terrible. But transformation can be beautiful, and I'm personally learning how to blossom into really all of myself, all of the corners of who I am and who I can be, and to take pride and joy in the things that make me strange and weird. You know, if I love being alone and quiet for a while, then just to absolutely sink into that and love it. And this transformation here at the course, even through all of the detoxes that I'm doing and all of the cleansing and really getting back into I'm living in the jungle. It's tremendous to watch and witness transformation, both in myself and other people. It's so simple, and I feel a little bit dumb for saying this, but I am not afraid of being stupid in front of a lot of people, because I think it's telling. It shows us what we know and what we don't know, and it helps us relate to other people. I'm constantly writing in my journal what I know at this point, and even my prejudices and stuff like that, because then I go back when I know differently and I say, oh, there must be other people who think that way too, and let's figure out how we can unlock this. But I seriously thought that you had to eat peppers, raw peppers, and that was the extent of raw foods. And I like peppers, but I don't like them after one or two, and when they're raw, I just get tired of eating them, and then I'm like, screw this, I'm gonna go have some, something else, some meat and potatoes or some macaroni and cheese. And the amount of food that we've been making, and the types and the qualities, and the fact that I can make something that tastes like black beans out of sesame seeds, and something that tastes like sour cream out of macadamia nuts, is blowing my mind. And I really like the food. And so my realization may be a little bit humble, and I bet most people coming here were already thinking, or already know a lot about raw food, and they have a lot more experience than I do. But I am just amazed by how good raw food can be. And raw actually seems like a very strange word to me. For some reason I was afraid of it, and I didn't even realize that you could use a dehydrator or freeze stuff. And so you can blend up berries and freeze and make sorbets, and you can use raw chocolate powder with avocado and make these puddings that are delicious. And you can take shiitake mushrooms and then soak them in really delicious flavors and dehydrate them for 8 hours, and then they turn into these amazing, it's like a stir fry. I'm blown away by how good the food is. So for me, one important thing that I learned, a really important thing is, and I knew this biochemically, but I didn't implement it. And it's how important it is to stop eating early in the evening and then wait in the morning before eating. So you can have 12 hours, even 16 hours, where you rest your digestive system, or at least the front part of your digestive system, so that other parts can work in between. So we would stop eating at 6 or 7 p.m. And then in the morning, I would go for a run, do a yoga class, drink 3, 4, 5 liters of water and lemon juice and coconut water. And then when we get back around 9 a.m., drink a green juice. Again, no solid foods. And we didn't have solid foods until 10, 11, sometimes 12 o'clock. And I wasn't hungry. And when you learn about how the serial processes of the digestive system work and how everything kind of happens in sequence, one following the other, it's remarkable to me how precious that time is, the early evening ending the eating and the early morning not eating, how precious that time is for just making your body feel amazing. And I mean, I'm running every day, I'm doing yoga every day, I'm writing every morning, and then I'm going to class, and I feel more alive than I've ever felt, and I just feel happy, and I don't know, it's simple, right? Stop eating at 6 and don't eat until 10 the next day, and yet we cram our late nights with food, and then we wake up early and we drink copious amounts of coffee in the Western world. So that was a huge, if I take anything home, it's gonna be new recipes and that. Just give yourself space to process the food that you ate. Yeah, it's wonderful. Green juice is really good too, and lemon water is really good. Also, there's another realization. It was that lemon water is so good. A lot of hunger comes from acidity in your body and your blood, and you can reduce that through mineralized water and through lemon water. Even though lemons seem really acidic, they do the opposite effect in your body. And so drinking, first thing in the morning, drinking like a liter of water with a squeezed lemon, not the pulp, but just the lemon juice in it, and then you're not hungry. It's blowing my mind. I'm sure that lots of people know that this is already true, but it's really, really incredible to me.